What's up? Hello. There you are.
I have no idea what was going on with my freaking mic and your mic or I don't know if you were saying anything. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were you able to hear me or not?
No,
I'm glad that you got that figured out.
I literally didn't do anything. I just restarted my computer and now it works.
Well, sometimes that's all that needs.
Yeah, so weird.
Next time you can press Control R on Discord, and that's like a reset.
Okay, I'll have to try that next time. I went into the uh like settings, like the audio settings, because before I had to like reselect my headset mic, but it was showing that it was on it. So I was like, what the heck?
Hmm.
So yeah, super weird. But I am on.
It was perfect timing because I just started matchmaking, and then you hopped in, and I was like, cancel.
Perfect.
Try and get my webcam figured out for my stream. I haven't had a webcam on forever.
Nice.
Okay. I'll let you send me an invite.
Okay. Did you want to talk about your replay from the
Yes,
other night first?
definitely.
So did you watch the replay? I assume you did.
I have not yet because I don't really know how to work the replay.
Okay, so you should definitely watch it. Um, I can't remember exactly what you were saying when you first told me about the game, but it's interesting because like as well looking the whole time your score was like pretty significantly ahead of his. But if
Right.
I wasn't looking at the score, like just looking at what was going on the map, I thought he was ahead the whole time, pretty much.
Okay.
Just
I
because
do
he
want to
took like
watch.
the
He
he
took
took
like that
map
mid, right?
control. Sorry, what?
He took like that mid.
Yeah. He took that middle section, which had all the resources. Like it had like four or
Right.
five gold mines, ton of hunt. Um, he had like 20 migdals like built on there, and two. He had four town centers, and you had two. Um, and like almost the whole game, he was max pop with military.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I
so
know
like
that one was a big one.
at that point, it was really hard for you to do anything because he just had so many units. But in terms of like what you could have done better, in my opinion, and obviously this is me, being a spectator, so it's easy for me to say. I don't necessarily always do
Right.
these
Right.
things either when I'm playing because it's, hard to execute when you're playing. A couple things like at the beginning I noticed you went for a farm transition like too early, in my opinion. There was like tons of hunt still available.
Yeah, I
Um,
know that I definitely. That's definitely a thing that I do. I've
yeah,
I've realized that I go for farms. I don't know why, but I have noticed that.
yeah, I get it because it's easier to, like set it and forget it. You don't really have to like micro anything.
Right.
But it definitely it puts you behind economically because it's just so much slower at a gather speed. Um, and then the other thing at the very, very beginning, uh, you like got, and I don't know if this is something you'd normally do or maybe you just in this game did it by accident, but it was like way, way, way early in the second age, like barely had aged up, you pre-queued your farm upgrades, like plow and everything. And I definitely don't think you should do that because that just takes resources away from being able to do other things. Because I mean, even though you did a early farm transition, I think you had paid for those upgrades like 10 minutes before you even transitioned to farms. So something that I have tried to do lately is I don't buy the farm upgrades until I am about to do a farm transition here, like in the next 60 seconds or so.
Okay. Yeah, that's. I normally do that, but I mean, I don't have to. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I just
I
think
could just
there's a lot of
habit, I
little
guess.
things early that put you behind economically and military wise because you are like putting a lot of resources to things that you weren't really utilizing, especially in the early game. Like he had a huge, pretty early like military force, and he was able to scout, take that center of the map and stuff like that. And then, in the fights too. One of the big things. This is on another like off topic kind of. In those fights, like he had like mass chariots
Yeah.
and what else did he have? Just like myth units.
Uh.
I think he had some camels and like some other things. So Egyptian versus Greek, it heavily favors Greek when it comes to military because the prodromos uh, counter every single unit coming out of a Migdol.
Okay. And I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, so um, and all the Greeks have them. So Poseidon, Zeus, and Hades, and because you went up with Ares, so you get the Phobos Spear of Panic upgrade. It gives the Prodromos divine damage. Those things would have wrecked the chariots and like been a hard counter. You did do good by countering with peltasts because originally you just had a bunch of toxotes,
Right.
which the chariots counter them because the chariots. Well, okay, so that's not like a direct counter because chariots counter against infantry, but chariots have better range, better damage, and like
Yeah, they're just.
pretty
Yeah.
significantly better than Tox because especially if he had pretty good micro, which I did notice he did. Um, Tox are okay. Peltasts are better than Tox, but if you wanted to do like a full counter, especially considering you had the military disadvantage in terms of pop space, the Prodromos are like you would have just deleted his entire army.
Okay. That's good to know.
And then the earthquake stuff, because I remember you did mention earthquake and meteor
Yeah.
and stuff.
And like I
Your
know I definitely whiffed on that.
your first earthquake was better than the second, but the first one would have been better if you would have followed it up. So when you hit Mythic Age, I was watching. You like sent like a couple units out to like just scout like his base right there, and then
Right.
you called earthquake in, um, but you hadn't like max out your army or you didn't have your army like ready to go in to follow it up immediately. Like it was like a I don't know, maybe like 15 like 30 seconds later, but it makes a huge difference because he was able to like get his army into position because of it, to defend, so you weren't really able to make a huge push into that forward base.
Mm,
Also, he did because I remember you mentioned how earthquake was like super weak and it basically did nothing to his buildings,
yeah.
which was accurate because it didn't kill anything pretty much like
I
I saw,
didn't. I was,
but it
I
was
was so
because he
disappointed.
had he was fully maxed out on all his upgrades like for the buildings, so that
Dang.
was why. So that made it even more critical that you needed to have a follow up with military because you could have definitely finished off the buildings, but like for sure earthquake did not do what it normally would have against people that don't have the upgrades.
That makes sense, and that does make me feel better that he had those upgrades,
For
because I
sure.
was like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Yeah,
Like,
he had. I mean, That's why it was so interesting, like the score, because I was watching the score, and then I'm obviously kind of like, seeing what both of you guys are doing on both sides in your base, and I can see the upgrades and the things that you're buying, and he had a significant technological advantage against you when it comes to like armory upgrades, all the unit upgrades, building upgrades, like everything.
Wow.
And then the other thing was, and this is not like super huge, but just small things, once again, harder to do, but easy for me to say, just being a spectator, was which fights to take and which fights not to take.
Right.
You had one fight where you had like a bunch of Cyclops with some talks on the back and maybe some other like hoplites or uh, hippocons,
Mhm.
and he had mass chariots and priests. I mean, he had like 20 priests or something like that, and they just deleted your Cyclops like instantly.
Yeah.
And like I was watching it going, no, like don't go in there. And I don't know if you like didn't even realize that like maybe you had clicked for them to scout because I didn't change the perspective to see what you could see.
I didn't see the
You may have
priest
just
until
had them to
too
push
late.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was too late. But that one I was just like, no, like just watching your guys just walk into that death ball. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, I remember that. And then that's because after that I was like, okay, well I'm not making more myth until I take care of
Cyclops. Yeah,
these until
yeah.
I take care
The
of these
chariots and the
guys.
priests. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, overall, like nothing huge. It's just that all the little things kind of like snowball, especially by the late game. Um,
Yeah.
Probably some of the bigger things is early game only buying upgrades you're gonna use,
Yeah, I
and
probably
then
yeah. I know I definitely need to work on that for sure.
yeah, and then oh, this was their thing. There was two different times. This is early in the game where he had taken the one of those town centers, and you went for one of the other town centers with one villager, and you didn't realize that he saw it, and he killed the villager, and he was attacking like the partial built town center, and I kept thinking, delete it, delete it, delete it, because if you delete it, you get part of the resources back, but if he destroys it, you don't get anything back, and like you didn't delete it, and he just destroyed it, and I was like, oh, there goes 700 resources because it's 350 coin, 350 wood, and
Mm,
you had it happen a second time on one of the other mid-map town centers. Literally the same thing happened. You went out, you started building it, and then he scouted it, and he brought his army in, killed the villagers, and same thing. I was just thinking, delete the town center, delete, and you didn't delete it, and he just killed it, and that's another 700 resources that just went down the drain.
yeah, no, that is a great tip that I never even thought of.
Yeah, you don't get full resources back. I think you just get partial. But
That's
like,
better than
if
zero.
you see that like it's like you're not going to be able to finish it or defend the position, just delete it because you'll save those resources.
Yeah, no, that's definitely I could do that.
Yeah. Um, what else was there? Oh, one other thing. I guess and this is obviously with nuance because I don't know what like specific strategies you were going for or what your mindset was at the time. But I notice in your build order, like at the beginning, you buy Ajax before you buy your Age up.
That was just that time. Yeah, normally I don't do
Okay,
that.
normally you don't, because in that one I saw it and I was like, oh no, like because it's 100 food, so your age up was like significantly delayed because he got bought before the age up went in. So and I thought it might have just been like a misclick or you just mismicroed it, but I did notice that and I was like, oh, like he's gonna be a little like behind because
I
of
think
that.
it was because I saw um, there was a what's it called thing I wanted.
Oh, a relic.
Yeah, I think there's a relic that
Yeah,
was like
which is
I
possible.
need to
There
make
there
sure
was
that I
some.
get that,
Yeah,
but I don't
you
even know if
did
I
get a
got
few
it.
relics that were good on there because I did check that as well.
Yeah, especially after watching that.
The tier list.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Overall, I would say the biggest big picture tips that I would say is not buying upgrades you don't need yet, and then also just military composition. You know,
yeah,
picking the right counters and things like that. Those just those two things alone would significantly, help and would have turned that game around like pretty easily.
yeah. I feel that for sure.
Yeah. But like I said, this is obviously me putting things under a microscope, and I totally get that it's harder to do than just to watch it and say,
I
because
mean,
I'm not good at doing
it's
everything
still
anyway.
good good tips because
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, the other thing that I do the exact same thing, so I am also trying to work on this, but because we've talked about, I always have like so much extra wood, when I play
Yes,
Greek, and you like so many times during the game like had like 30
so
to 50
much.
villagers on wood,
Yeah,
and no, I think at one point you had like 10 on food and you had like
yeah.
30 on wood.
I
I
did.
was
I'm
like,
starting to
yeah,
like try to focus on that and be like, okay, I
you
gotta
gotta
like
adjust
adjust
your
that.
villager. Yeah, for
So like
sure.
today, that's what I've been practicing was adjusting those.
Yeah. So that, yeah, like I said, super hard to do because I did literally that exact same thing. But there was so many points in the game where I was just like, dude, you have like 6K wood and zero food or coin right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Yeah. So, but overall, I thought it was, there's maybe some other things like he never built walls, and obviously this is different, like people's play styles or depending on
Yeah,
what
and I
units you go
normally
for.
don't, but I was like, I just want to. I have a like that. My left side was like really good, really rich
Yeah.
resource wise. So
Yeah.
like, I don't want him to come in here because I'm going to invest a bunch of units, which worked because
Yeah.
he didn't come in there till later on.
Yeah. So you did a good thing by building walls where you did, when you did, everything. I was super happy about that. He never built walls at all. So in my head, when there was like some lulls in the fighting, I was like, something you could think about is like literally just make like 5 horses. It doesn't matter what kind, and you could have
Mm,
sent them around that top
yeah,
side
that
that
would
you
have been a
walled
good
off,
idea. Do more
either
harassing.
to scout or harass him, because it would just take his attention into another area, like just mess with his villagers. It'd give you breathing room, but it would also have given you some line of sight to kind of like what's going on in the back of his base.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the other thing, last thing, and then we can start. Um, when you were talking to me about the heroes and how like annoying it was when the Titan came and you guys were just getting like deleted as soon as you trained them.
Yeah,
Um, so I didn't even know this, and I actually want to like confirm your the Perseus hero, dude. He is like so strong, like insanely strong. Um, because I was like looking at it, he does like a huge amount of divine damage, and like his HP is insane. But like against the Titan at that point, you only had one hero, and he was just getting, because that guy had
I
tons of
thought I kept
chariots.
making heroes.
I think that what you did was, so this is the other, I guess, kind of that goes into ties with this. Um, you This can be good and bad. You use the pre-queue for upgrades a lot,
Yeah,
which can be good, but I found it numerous times throughout the game where you had pre-queued like a ton of upgrades, and it hampered you from being able to build units, because when you pre-queue it, as soon as you have enough resources for it, it automatically starts it. So there was a lot of points in the game where I could see you were trying to build units, but you just didn't have resources because your resource came in, and then as soon as it had enough to get the upgrade, it automatically started.
Right.
So I think that may have been happening when you were trying to buy your heroes, because I didn't. At the end, you only had the Perseus, Ajax, the Chiron, and Achilles. I never saw them. So I think you may have thought, like, you were clicking like to buy them, and it was like a millisecond difference between you getting it and getting an upgrade.
Yeah, that would
like
definitely explain that, because I thought for sure I was like
training them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, overall, no, that was good. Good, decent game.
Room for improvement, but I'm definitely
for sure.
Like, I don't mind improving.
Yeah, the best thing is a lot of the things that will help you like pretty significantly are pretty. I don't want to say basic, because they're not, because they're really hard to do, but it's not like far-fetched things like that, I feel like once you are aware of the things, it'll be pretty easy to recognize.
Yeah. Yeah, I do get that. I don't know what's going on with my camera.
Alright. Odin. Jeez, this might be a they're
problem.
in the same clan, and the James dude, his
they're
1v1 elo, they're both really, really high.
Yeah, they're both ranked super high, and yeah. This is a bummer.
Yeah. Well, that's the downside of quick match, that there's, it puts you up against anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I got Poseidon though, so that's kind of good. At least it's a main.
I'm gonna start doing what you do.
Πρόσταγμα, τέκνος, διερευστής, έτοιμος. Πρόσταγμα, ορθός, πάνω.
Λέγε, τέκτον, με μεταλλές.
Okay. Man, it keeps freezing, which is not what I want. So I'm going to work on pre-queuing less, and especially things I'm not going to be used for a minute.
Yeah.
Πρόσταγμα. Λέγε. Τέκτον. Ναι. Πρόσταγμα. Μεταλλεύς. Τέκτον. Με μεταλλεύς.
I'm still undecided. Do I go Ares or freaking Athena?
Yeah.
I think Athena's better for like late game. Ares is better early game, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think depends on what you're going for. I don't know. I like Ares, but
Yeah, I'll do Ares.
Πρόσεχε, έστω. Θηρευτής.
Προσδέστο.
Έτοιμος. Θηρευτής.
Λέγε.
Πρόσταγμα με μεταλλεύσεις.
Έτοιμη. Βρυτόμος.
Έτοιμος. Μάλιστα. Θρητόμος. Έτοιμος. Πρόσταγμα.
Ani. Esto.
Πρόσταγμα. Τέκτον. Τέκτον.
Πρόσταγμα. Λέγε. Βουφορβός.
So he's going centaurs.
Τέκτον. Πρόσεχε. Τέκτον. Έτοιμη.
Πρόσταγμα. Πρόσεχε. Ναι. Έστω. Τέκτον. Ναι.
I think yellow's already trying to wall off here, huh?
Έτοιμος. Μεταλλεύσεις.
Dang. Oh, yeah, with the guy switched to, what's it called?
Τέκτον. Πρόσταγμα. Βρυτόμος.
What the?
Why? think we
I
can
did that
unpause
just
it.
to our team.
How'd you? What do you mean?
Because you can switch the chat to messaging everyone versus messaging team.
How can you tell?
When you open the chat box, there's the little globe thing. That's everyone. The other one is just teammates. So if we weren't like in a chat together, shit! I was not paying attention to where my Cyclops is at.
Λέγε. Τέκτον.
Πρόσταγμα.
Prostagma. Ani. Μάλιστα.
Πρόσεχε. Βουφορβός. Έτοιμε, μάλιστα. Βούλομαι. Τέκτον. Θηρευτής.
Oh always forget about going to other hunts.
Yeah.
Έτοιμο.
What's up, Forrest?
Το στάγμα. Βούλομαι. Έστω.
Λέγε.
Πρόσεχε. Ναι. Βούλομαι.
Πρόσεχε. Τέκτον. Ρητόμος. Έτοιμη.
I wonder if it's a Discord thing.
Τέκτον. Τέκτον.
Yeah, it might be. Dang, yellow has a ton of rating cap.
Ετοίμος.
Finally.
Έστω. Βούλομαι.
It sounds like it's connected to the wrong source too.
Λέγε. Καλώς.
What the heck? Where's the guy that was building?
Πρόσταγμα.